Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football in Week 7 of the NFL. My name is Steve, and we got your best bets video for this game. We're going to have 2 player props, a total pick, and a same-game parlay that I think are great value bets for this game. Let's lock in and get a sweep here on Thursday Night Football.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire, all my bets straight from. You're in the house that Cap made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate that. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of your guys' support as always. Let's have a big Week 7 in the NFL and get the winning momentum rolling here in the NFL. First, we're going to start with a recap from week number 6. This is from Sunday and Monday. We had a very good Thursday last week. We made over 4 units. So we actually ended up with a winning week 6 in the NFL. But as far as Sunday and Monday goes, we did not. We ended up going 4-11, minus 1.59 units. So I'm sure you guys are looking at that wondering how we didn't lose more units. Well, we cashed our plus 2,400 parlay on Sunday, which brought us back 6 units. So that really saved us from having a bad week, from too bad of a week. But overall, guys, it was terrible. As far as our straights, I haven't had a week that bad on straight bets in the NFL in quite a while. That was obviously pretty awful. They were going 4-11. Definitely a struggle on our straight bets. But like I said, we've been really hot cashing parlays of late. We cashed a plus 3,500 last Thursday. We cashed a plus 2,400 on Sunday. We cashed a plus 12 or 1,300 the previous Sunday. So we've definitely been hitting parlays of late. But the straight bets, definitely from Sunday and Monday, were no good. Definitely unfortunate there. There for sure was some misreads there. Take it Bijan Robinson's under in rushing yards. I don't know what I was on. That was crazy. But I mean, it feels like we get unfortunate news. Every time I try to play something like that, I did get a little cute. But Daquan Jones got ruled out in pregame, which he's one of their defensive tackles. So that obviously made a difference. I mean, Ed Oliver was back, but then Daquan Jones went down. So, I thought the rush defense would be much better than it was, and it wasn't. And I thought we can get Atlanta behind the game script and the Bills, run out to the lead, and a bunch of players on offense got hurt. So, nothing but injuries on Monday night, and obviously that hurt, but it is what it is. It still wasn't the best of picks. We got to do better. So, like I said, though, the parlay, though, kept us afloat. As far as our Comic Cappers go, Comic Cappers did a great job. Justin McKelvey calling the Chicago Bears team total over 22.5. He called Bijan Robinson over 74.5 rushing yards. That cashes. Lit Picks called the Chiefs minus 2.5 on Sunday Night Football, and the Vegas Raiders minus 3.5 on Sunday, the 4 o'clock game. And then Eric Bean calling Tua over 2.5 rushing yards, cashes that with 4. Magic Man called the Jaguars Seahawks first half under 22.5 points, cashes that as well. So great job as always from our Comic Cappers. Make sure you drop your favorite pick down below for this game. Let me know what you guys are playing. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick, and we'll include your pick in our next video if it hits. So yeah, let's get week 7 off to a good start though, guys. Let's get a clean sweep here on Thursday Night Football. Ready to get after it, get into our picks. We got a big slate here, and a big card of plays here. So let's get into it and get the sweep. At number 1, we're rocking the over 43.5 points in the Steelers-Bengals game. We're going minus 110 odds here on Bet Rivers, risking a unit here. So this line has actually moved from when I made my previous video from 42.5, which I played the over on that. I said take the over on that, and moved up to 43.5 during the day today. So I still love it at 43.5. It's still moving on some books. Some books already have this at 44.5. So obviously take your best number that you can take. But you can always buy it down a point if you'd like as well. If you guys want to have the same line as us. But we are on the 43.5 here on Rivers. Both pass defenses here on both squads, the Steelers and the Bengals, have been awful this season. There's been much made of that, obviously. The Bengals pretty much just like they were last season, not a good pass defense at all. Ranking 30th versus the pass. The Steelers ranked 31st versus the pass this season. So the Steelers have actually been slightly worse. I don't know how, but they've been slightly worse than the Bengals pass defense. They've been better the last few weeks, but here going up against this aerial attack in Cincinnati, where they finally got a quarterback that can get the ball down the field in Joe Flacco, to some of these big name receivers and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, I think that's huge. I think we'll see Flacco in this offense have some success here versus Pittsburgh and be able to really open it up downfield a little bit versus a very vulnerable secondary, to say the least. Two quarterbacks that are older in age, in their 40s, but they can still get it done. They can still throw the ball deep. Two of the greater quarterbacks of all time, but they still got some left in the tank. Both Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers here. And both these squads have big play weapons. We've seen these guys make big plays this season already. DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all guys that can make big plays in the passing game. So obviously love seeing that. I think the addition of Flacco here is what really locks this in for me. Obviously confident that the Steelers are going to put up some points on this Bengals defense. Wasn't so sure about Cincinnati until we got Flacco in there. And I think Flacco is going to have success here too and be able to put some points up here on Pittsburgh. So I really like the prospect of taking that. Last season when these two teams met in Cincinnati, there was 82 points scored. Now that's when Russell Wilson was playing the quarterback for the Steelers. So there's only been what I would say, upgrades as far as the Steelers go. Obviously no Joe Burrow, but I think Flacco is going to be better than you think. I really do. We kind of saw flashes of it last week in Green Bay, and he only had a couple days with the team. This week, he got a whole week of practice in. He's going to have the opportunity to get more familiar with, obviously, his receivers. And I think he's going to be in heaven because let's face it, Flacco hasn't played with receivers like this really in his entire career. He hasn't had the talent that he's got on the outside. I don't think anywhere he's played in Baltimore or obviously there with the Browns. So I think we might actually see, like I said, we might see Joe Flacco do great with these guys just because they got a lot of talent, a lot of ball skills there on the outside. So Bengals actually 11th in points per game at home, despite them not having a quarterback this season. They've still been able to score at home. They scored versus Detroit. Cincinnati kind of just breeds points. They've actually been decent points per game at home. They've got like 12 points per game on the road, but they're averaging close to 25 at home. So definitely interesting there. And Steelers on the road have been scoring. Steelers 6th in points per game on the road this season. So very interesting there. I think this is a type of environment that just kind of breeds points, is what it is. Bengals 4th most yards per play allowed this season on defense. So like I said, their defense is not very good. I think we'll see some points in this one. So love it there for number one pick. We get the over 43.5 points in the Steelers-Bengals game. -110 odds here on Bet Rivers. Okay, and at number 2, we're going T. Higgins. Over 45.5 receiving yards here for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got -114 odds here on DraftKings. Risking a unit here on this one. So far this season, guys, we got T. Higgins over in just 2 of 6 games this season. But only one of those games he's played with Joe Flacco. And guess what? He went over with Joe Flacco. And that was after like just a couple days of knowing the guy. So if that can happen, imagine what a week will do. Imagine what a couple weeks will do for T. Higgins. This is a very reasonable receiving line. Like I said, now that he's got Joe Flacco back there throwing the ball, I think it's going to make a big difference. He's drawing a great matchup, obviously, here with Pittsburgh. He's already torched the Steelers in his career, going over in 5 of his last 6 games versus the Steelers with a 91.8 yards per game average. So it kind of makes sense because I think the attention here is obviously going to be on Jamar Chase. It always is. Jamar Chase is the number 1 receiver on this team, so he's going to draw the toughest matchups. And obviously T. Higgins should get some better looks here. Maybe versus the older Darius Slay. Getting some good looks here, which unfortunately Slay is just not the player he used to be. Anymore. He's older. There's a reason Philly let him go. Obviously older there. Steelers 27th in yards allowed to wide receivers. So that's obviously pretty good there. Like I said, the focus I think here is going to be on Jamar Chase. You'll see more opportunities here for T. Higgins. I really like his spot. And for me, guys, like I mentioned earlier, Joe Flacco is really the game changer. This is what really makes this different. And I think both these quarterbacks are going to get after it, and we're going to see the aerial attack on Thursday night. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm honestly excited for it. 2 old-time quarterbacks going at it, and I think we're going to see a lot of yards, a lot of pass yards, a lot of opportunities for points, a lot of opportunities for receiving yards, obviously, here. So Love it there for number 2 pick. We got T. Higgins over 45.5 receiving yards here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Minus 114 odds here on DraftKings. Okay, and at number 3, we're going DK Metcalf over 58.5 receiving yards here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going minus 114 odds here on FanDuel, risking a unit here. So Metcalf 3 of 5 so far on the season, averaging 6.2 targets per game. Last 2 weeks, we've really seen him step it up, though. 126 and 95 yards over his last 2 games. That's obviously fantastic. The connection between him and Aaron Rodgers continues to grow, which you love to see that. It's only getting better, and this line for me is just too low. I think it should be closer, honestly, at least in the 70s here for Metcalf. And if you can get this in the 50s, that's pretty wild to me. I think that's great value. Last time he played the Bengals, he went over with 69 yards. Granted, it was 2 years ago. So I wouldn't make a lot of that. Really, the Bengals' pass defense has been worse the last 2 years since he hasn't played them. They've only gotten worse. So I fully expect them to go over. Like I said, you could see it kind of forming before your eyes between Rodgers and Metcalf. The advantage of taking a guy like Metcalf here is you got one of the game's greatest quarterbacks all time throwing him the ball. So as long as he gets the targets, you feel pretty good about it because Rodgers is going to generally put the ball in a good spot for Metcalf to catch it. It's what's been happening the last couple of weeks. And like I said, it's only continuing to get better between Metcalf and Rodgers right now. So I think that obviously that will continue here versus the Bengals. And you could beat just about anyone in this Bengals secondary. Monroe St. Brown, Golden of the Packers, Jefferson of the Vikings. All these guys had 75 plus yards receiving recently versus this Bengals secondary. So I think once again Metcalf could really torch anybody, but I think he'll torch the Bengals here today. So love it there, guys. For number 3 pick, we're going DK Metcalf over 58.5 receiving yards here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, minus 114 odds on FanDuel. Okay, guys, and then our same game parlay, valued at plus 3,500 odds on DraftKings, risking a quarter of a unit. I didn't write that in my notes, but the reason I'm risking a quarter of a unit today, for me personally, now you guys can risk just a tenth of a unit if you want, but I'm tracking this as a quarter unit. I had a no sweat bet for this game. I decided just to use it on the parlay, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever, I'll put the 25 on it. I had a max $25 risk. But why not go for it? We hit it last week. We had a plus 3,500 last week that we cashed, and I really like this one as well. Noah Fant, anytime touchdown. I think this one is really sneaky, and this is the one that holds the most value. It's kind of like Jackson Dart was last week. Noah Fant coming into this game. No Mike Gesicki for the Bengals. He's now out for the season. So it's going to be pretty much Fant. He's going to be, obviously tight end number 1 here. Joe Flacco is now in for his second week playing quarterback, so he can get the ball down the field. And Steelers don't defend the tight end position well in the red zone. They're 24th DVP. We saw Hunter Henry a couple weeks ago get a couple touchdowns against them. So obviously I like seeing that. I think Fant's in a great position. He's a great red zone target. He's a big body. He's got good hands. So obviously I think he can get a good chance here in the red zone. And for the value you're getting, like I said, this is the value that really makes this parlay. It's great there on Noah Fant. Jonnu Smith, similar. I mean, we're getting pretty good value on him too. Again, great red zone target here. The Bengals 31st DVP in touchdowns allowed to tight ends. So it's another great matchup. These guys in the red zone, there should be a lot of opportunities. We think this over is going to hit. We like there being a lot of points here. I think these guys will get opportunities in the red zone to catch the football. It's just a matter of, and they're not the number 1 guys on the team, so they're not going to draw the attention of a guy like Chase or Higgins or Metcalf. Those guys are more apt to get the attention because they've been having this success. These are 2 sneaky guys that I think could find the way into the end zone. And then this should be slam dunks. Chase Brown, 2 receptions. Jaylen Warren, 2 receptions. Both have done this in every game this season. Brown is 6 for 6. Jaylen Warren is 4 for 4. So those should definitely happen. And both these teams rank in the bottom 10 in DVP and receptions allowed to running back. So again, I really like those 2 to just record 2 receptions each. I think they'll be easy. Last week it came down to one of these guys. It came down to Scatabo, 2 catches, and he got one on the last throw of the game for the Giants. So Hopefully it's not that sweaty on those legs. Hopefully, you know, if we got to sweat anything out, it should be one of the touchdown scores. But, you know, obviously we'll see what happens there. So, love it there, guys. So, risking a quarter of a unit to make over 900 on this parlay. We cashed one for 600 last week. It could happen, guys. We've been hot with the parlays, so hopefully it stays that way here on Thursday night. Specifically, our touchdown scores have been money of late. I think in parlays, I think we've projected our last, because we had a parlay on Sunday night where both touchdown scores hit in that one again, and they were both pretty good value. It was Worthy and Laporta, and we had Thornton for 50 receiving yards. So our last, I want to say, because dating back to last week, we hit 3, 5, 8. Our last 10 touchdown score predictions here at the channel have all come in. We're 10 for 10, which is pretty wild when you go back to last Sunday, I believe. Don't quote me on that specifically. I might be wrong. But I think we're pretty close to 10 for 10. We've done a pretty good job with our touchdowns. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully the receptions come in easy, because that would really be a bummer when these guys are 10 for 10 on the season. You're getting 2 receptions. Hopefully they take care of business. But outside of that, guys, that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, hit the like and subscribe for me. We obviously have a lot of content here at the channel, a lot of NFL content. Baseball, if you guys are wondering about that, we've likely retired that for the season. I just cannot find a rhythm in Major League Baseball in the postseason. We found rhythm in baseball in the second half of the year, but not in the postseason. The postseason has been brutal. And even last night, I was looking over some of the stuff I was going to pick. I was looking at the under 3.5 in the first 5, and that just barely cashed. That really shouldn't have cashed. And I didn't put it out or anything. That was just something I started writing in my notepad. Granted, like I said, it would have hit yesterday. And then I don't know if I would have taken Teoscar and Frelick. Both those guys got a hit, run RBI yesterday. It's a cruel world, guys. It's just the way it works. But baseball is just tough right now. It really is. Honestly, I think I would only be playing unders right now. You just can't trust anything else. It's just been one of those things. So, appreciate you guys, though. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I know it's been a lengthy video. I've been droning on. Hope you guys enjoyed it, though. We'll catch you back here, guys, next time. Peace out.